And welcome back to The Factor. Uncensored, there are multiple shades in America's ideals. Nothing is exactly black or white. But some believe the country is making a shift in becoming more conservative in recent years. One of the signs some are pointing to, trade wives. That's a new term for me. A trend inspired by the 1950s, where women in marriages operated in traditional gender roles, like focusing on the kitchen and the bedroom. Remember that line from Good Times when James Evans said it? Some believe the presidential election is a major sign, as President-elect Donald Trump won all 7 battleground states. Joining us to talk about it tonight, political analyst Dallas Jones and attorney Kevin Fulton. So Kevin, is this a sign of where the country is going? More Republican, more conservative, like you are?
Yeah, definitely. And that was happening even before this election. Gallup poll had already come out with numbers showing that this amount of people that's identified as conservative is higher than it has been in a couple of decades. And the weird thing about it is, it's not this your traditional older whites. It is a crossbred of demographics where you see an increase in Hispanics, you have an increase in Asian, and amazingly, the biggest increase is people 30 to 64. So you now see a trend of people becoming more conservative than you have before.
I got them chills when you say a crossbred. But Dallas, are the Democrats, which you are you guys losing your grip on your voter base? We saw a lot of losses for the Democrats this year, national level, state level, local level. What went wrong, in your opinion, that you are losing the American people, at least in this election, what we've seen?
Well, the direct answer to your question is, obviously, we're losing our voters in some places because, as you identified, and as Kevin identified, it was a swath of people that switched over. And in some states, we saw where the top of the ticket, in terms of the presidential race, didn't do as well as we'd liked it to. Mm-hmm. And then people would go back and vote Democratic in maybe their Senate race or whatever the case may be, right? And so what we see is that there are a number of issues that I think were missed, right? I think we spent a lot of time talking about issues that we believed the American people cared about, such as Roe v. Wade. Well, what we saw in this election, post-Dobbs decision, was that Roe wasn't as effective as we had hoped it to be, as we had bet on it to be, right? And what we realized is that this came down to 2 issues, I think, for voters in this election. One is race, right? There were people that were so excited about the idea of electing Kamala Harris, but I think even more than race, there was class, right? And class went across lines in whether you were, we saw his increase in almost every demographic, right? Because people can't afford the price of bread or the price of eggs. And that mattered to those folks that look, before I can get to social issues, I just want to get I want to
pay my bill.
Right.
You know, my light bill, my
rent, we have to deal with that
my
reality.
Mortgage. Yeah.
There's somebody right now shifting in their chair because I'm saying this, and that's the problem. The people that broke it cannot fix it. We have to have hard conversations about where we go as a party, and how do we make sure we maintain that connection with the working class American, that we maintain the connection with the issues that people care about. And let me just say this, and stop segmenting people, right? When you're a big tent party, you got to realize you got a lot of people in the tent. And so what my values are as an African-American man may not be the same values as the Hispanic man.
And really quick, for both of you, one of the issues that many Democrats have pointed to, but they've been ostracized as a result of doing so, is saying that LGBTQ issues were pushed too far. Kevin, really quick.
That's exactly it. You say some people who are saying, okay, I'm okay with you saying it's be transgender, I'm okay with that, but they weren't okay with you saying, I want biological men to compete in women's sports. And Democrats, for some reason, could not admit to simple things like that. They had to push it all the way.
Dallas, really quick, you brought up Roe versus Wade, but all the other people are bringing up LGBTQ issues. So Your thoughts on that?
Well, the other side did a great job of lighting gasoline on an issue that really wasn't an issue being pushed, or an issue that affects less than 1% of the population, right? They took that ball, they ran with it, they made us have a conversation about it, right? Even right here in Texas, Colin Allred had to come back and say, look, this is not what I believe. He had to address an issue that wasn't one that he would have preferred to have had to talk about.
All right. We want to thank you, gentlemen, for joining us here on The Factor Uncensored.